How is it going, everybody? I hope you're having a most wonderful day as always. Today's video, I promise, is going to be a really short one because I am on my way to the grocery store to pick up a couple items and it's fixing to rain again. But I'm not worried about the rain because my goodness, 97 degrees in the shade. My car has been sitting in the shade all afternoon. It's now 5:21 and 97 degrees. Holy moly. Glad you stuck around. Today is going to be a video that I really didn't want to make, a video that shouldn't be made, but a video that needs to be made, if that makes any sense. Oh, and by the way, thank you for sticking around through the little opening. But today's video is something that has happened before and will probably happen again. And what is that? The death of the muscle car again. I know, when I do these types of videos, everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, yada, 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 yada. And I posted a video here a while back, and I'll put the link up there in the top left, like I always do, or always try to remember to do. I'm getting old, sucks, memory ain't what it used to be. Of when I posted that, because they moved Al Oppenheiser, the chief engineer, or I keep saying engineer, chief designer, over to the electric side of things, and then news story after news story. Oh God, look at 280. Well, you sure don't see those much anymore. Look at that bad boy. Yes, any and every car excites me. I love them all. Except for the new stuff like the Honda Accords and some of the Mercedes and the Kias and stuff like that. They're great cars, but it doesn't excite me. But yeah, I posted that video. Let me get some more sunlight in here. I posted that video and everybody started saying I was crazy and everything. Well, lo and behold, and I had mentioned in there that there might not even be a 7th generation Camaro. And if there was, that it would probably be a hybrid or even all electric. Now, I'm not going to get into all that again. I discussed that in that video, like I said. But what I am going to get into is what is old is new again, basically. And you know, what that means is, for you that don't understand it, everything goes in cycles. Seems like every 15 to 20 years, everything that used to be now is. It's like they run out of ideas and take something from the old, redo it, and make it new again. Such in case was the Camaro. You know, they done away with the Camaro after the 4th gen. They killed it, they knocked it off, they banished it, as everybody was saying. It's gone for good, gone for, well, wasn't the case. They put it on hiatus or on hold for a couple years, 10 years, and then they brought it back. Some will argue 8 years, so be it. Between 8 and 10 years. And brought it back, and it was bigger and better than ever. It resembled some of the 1st generation Camaros with some cues from the 2nd generation. Great, sales were up. The Challenger was out, it was doing really good. The Mustang, as always, is doing really good. And then they started tweaking things a little bit on the Camaro. Well, sales started going downhill. That's a whole different story, whole different video, like I said. And without going on a long tangent explanation of stuff, here's some things to think about. Back in the 60s, I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Basically, the official start of the muscle car era was the GTO. The official start of the pony car era was the Mustang. 1964 and a half is when the Mustang came out, and it has been a hit ever since. Now granted, when it got up to the 70s, when the smog restrictions and all that, everybody except Chevrolet was starting to go to smaller cars. Remember the Mustang 2? Little itty bitty car. Ooh, Monte Carlo Super Sport. Another great smog down car. Ooh. Told you, I get excited. But yes, remember the Mustang 2? Oh God, nobody really liked it. And the only thing that saved that little car outside of it being economical on fuel was Charlie's Angels. You know, Farrah Fawcett drove one in Charlie's Angels, and when I started dating my wife, she actually had one, and it was the white with the blue stripes and everything, but it had been converted over 5 lugs and had a Boss 302 in it. Man, that thing would scream. Couldn't nothing around touch it. And, you know, after that, the Fox bodies came in, everything started going back up, you know. Well, here we are again. The 6th generation runs out in 2023 is the official notice, or semi-official notice. And the Z28 has been canceled. They were actually working on it and had a testing mule, if you will, and was running it around, and for whatever reason, Mary Barra, the head person at GM, decided let's not do it, cancel it. Now this is unofficial. It's reported on GM Authority, which is a leading place of car news, especially as anything GM, but especially the Camaro. So on there, they put on there as a known fact or official story that the 6th generation Z28 has been canceled. And I have said over and over and over again that they always do one each generation. Well, lo and behold, it was supposed to come out. It was being done, you know, but they canceled it, sadly enough. And I'm trying not to turn this into a Camaro thing, but I wanted to start back at the beginning because the Camaro is a direct competitor to the Mustang. And then you had Dodge. You know, Dodge was a little late to the game as far as the pony car wars. So what they did was, rather than mess with the pony cars, yes, they had a couple that could be considered pony cars, you know, like the Barracuda and all that. They went straight for straight line performance. You know, they came out with the Challenger with the 446 packs and the 426 Hemis and all that stuff. Oh my God, what cars! But yeah, they had those. They had the Super Bs, the Super Birds. They were after the straight line and top speed performance with these types of cars. They wanted to go out there, kick your butt on Sunday, and then sell the cars on Monday, and they were really good at it. They had the Challengers, they had the Chargers. You don't know what a Charger is? Remember Dukes of Hazzard? But again, when the 70s hit, everything got choked down. Dodge, Chrysler could not compete. They couldn't keep performance up to their levels of standards. So they dropped the nameplate. They dropped the Challenger, they dropped the Charger, and went on to other things. Remember the K cars? Remember the Dodge Caravan? Now, with all that said, we are back again. I've always said when I was growing up, man, I so hate that I missed being of age when the first muscle car era come. I thought it was gone for good. You know, I was like, You look at all the hot rod magazines, Carcraft and all. Yes, magazines, not on the internet, magazines. I remember looking at them and seeing those cars, you know, the Camaros, the Mustangs, the Challengers, the Chargers, all those great cars, and saying, if I was only alive during that time, which I was alive, I was born in '66, but I wasn't of legal driving age, nowhere near. Well, then lo and behold, here come the Mustang on again. You know, they started building up performance in their cars again, and they brought back the Camaros, you know, with a little bit of performance. Not like in the heyday. They tried to keep it alive. You know, they still had the IROCs and stuff like that, but it wasn't quite the same. And Mustang wasn't quite the same. But somewhere along the line, and I'm going to just throw a date out there, it's very arguable, but I'm going to say around 2005, Mustang started taking off again. They started having more power. And then a few years later, they brought out the Challenger. Man, the Challenger was it. It looked so much like the old one, but had today's performance. And in 2010, they brought out the Camaro again. The three top dogs were back: the Mustang, the Challenger, and the Camaro. Well, it was great for a few years. I mean, the numbers were way up there. Everybody was doing good. Camaro was in the sales lead for 2010, 2011, I think 2012, and then they started tinkering with it and it started going back downhill. Mustang, even with their redesign, you know, the 550, the S550 and everything, they took a hit. Their numbers dropped. And Challenger has been holding kind of steady. They never were really at the top, but they've been holding steady. They were definitely in the top 3. But during this time, this same time frame as when the muscle car era, the second coming of the muscle car, was really taking off. Like I said, somewhere around the late 90s to 2005, was starting to build back up. And along this time, like I said, somewhere around 2005, a little earlier, there's a trend that started. Now I'll say the trend really started around 91, 92. The SUV, remember the big expeditions, the big excursions, all those things. The Explorer got really big and square and heavy. Then the Bronco went completely away because they brought on they made the Explorer bigger, and the Excursion come along, and the Expedition. And all the tree huggers, yes, I said it, tree huggers, they started griping about fuel economy, fuel economy, fuel economy. And most of the houses and garages couldn't handle the Excursions. They were so big, but there was a need for them, you know. Construction workers, equipment haulers, stuff like that needed these types of vehicles. There was a market for it. There still is. But the 4-door coupes, the family sedans, the sales started going downhill. They took just a little hit, and each year it got a little worse and a little worse. And then all the environmental activists started really getting up in arms because there was more and more and more of these big honking SUVs, these big gas guzzlers on the road, you know. So then the EPA gets involved. Oh, you're going to have to get better gas mileage, you know, you got to do this, got to do this. So you had two groups going with each other instead of against each other to start one thing. So that brings us back to present day. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I wanted to get the basics before I started talking about what's actually going on. Somewhere around 2015, I actually have it written down, let me look. 2015, all the 3 manufacturers hit record sales. Over 17.4 million in sales. Yes, that's a lot of millions. That's a lot of cars being sold when you consider the average car back then. Even the top dog cars wasn't over $35,000 to $40,000. And then by 2018, they only had 17.3 million in sales. Now you think that's not a lot in 3 years, 2015 to 2018. But when you actually think about the percentage, that is a 27.5% loss in sales. 27.5%. That's a lot, especially when I throw these numbers at you. To represent those sales, 2015 there was 266,216 vehicles sold in 2015. In 2018 there was only 193,134. That's where the 27.5% comes from. Why these sudden drop in sales? Why these sudden? One thing, and one thing only. And it really only took off over the past 2 years. Here we are in 2019 heading to 2020. So right around 2017 is when it started. And what really started was the crossovers. Not as big as an SUV, not a 2-door coupe. And it's in between the 4-door family sedan and the big SUV. It's smaller, so you can get the whole family in it. Most of them are 4 doors, so it's easily to get in and out. Hauls everything in the back because you can let the back seats down, haul anything in it. So they started really taking off strong. So much fact that most of the car manufacturers, except for people like Toyota and Honda, are doing away with their sedans. Ford, basically, for lack of better terms, is only going to have the Mustang. Yeah, they have 1 or 2 little cars like the Focus and everything, but I think they're going to phase it out too. Chevrolet, they're still stuck on the Volt and stuff like that. I mean, I don't get it. I won't even get into that. But the Malibu's gone, the Impala's gone, all their family sedans are gone. They're gone. There's nothing there. Basically, whenever you pull up in a Chevy or GM parking lot right now, you have the trucks, which is always going to be a big seller. You have the SUVs, crossovers, Corvette, and Camaro right now. So now we're moving on to the next stage, and I mentioned this again in that video. All the manufacturers have big deals with everybody, the EPA, overseas sales, all that stuff, to number one, have cars that reach a certain miles per gallon, and number two, that are autonomous, because everybody's so distracted with their cell phones. Cell phone manufacturers, they won't do it, but they could fix the phone to where if you're going over 15 miles an hour, which is a good jog, almost a sprint, it cuts it off to where you can't make or receive any calls except 911. Who needs to be talking about anything going down the road unless it's an emergency? You don't need to be texting, you don't need to be taking phone calls. Now, with all that said, they really want to get the autonomous vehicles coming up, because that's the wave of the future. They want hybrids and all electric. I mean, these car manufacturers devoting billions with a B to this technology. You know, the batteries, the charging stations, all that stuff. So this is also leading to the downfall of the second coming of the Camaro. You had the crossover craze, you know, the baby boomers and the millennials, you know, they want something that can haul everything, get them from point A to point B and get decent gas mileage. The only people that are really interested in the hot rods anymore are the older people like myself that have the money and the wherewithal to be able to get one, or the younger crowd, which go after the Ford EcoBoost. Great invention, great know-how, great technology, but whenever you had these younger kids going to look for a car, they're not looking for a typical V8 anymore. They want the car, but they don't necessarily want the bad gas mileage. So now you have the cars with the EcoBoost, the 4 cylinders, the 6 cylinders, slap a turbo on it and you're good to go, right? So that's where everything's heading. Autonomous, electric, hybrid, or EcoBoost types of cars. That's why Chevy put the option of having a 4-cylinder turbo 1LE Camaro, right? A 4-cylinder Camaro. I don't care how much little zippity-doo-dah pep it has. Not for me. It might be for you, and if it is, that's fine. But I just wanted to put all this information out there because everybody says I'm crazy when I go to talking about it. But if you start reading the back pages of the newspapers, yes, there is a newspaper still. Rather than tablets, or I could go on and on and on about stuff you guys didn't think would happen, and then it did. I mean, come on. Records to 8-tracks, 8-tracks in cars, 8-tracks in cars to cassettes. Oh, there's so many cassettes out there, and it'll never happen. CD players. Yep. Oh God, CDs. Remember all the little things you put up there for hold your CDs, and the big CD holder and stuff you keep in the back seat. Oh no, that'll never happen. It'll never end. It'll never end. There's too many CDs out there and everything. Anybody ever heard of MP3 players? So don't tell me that there's too many deals with the gas industries, the spark plug manufacturers. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Right? The Marine motto. The manufacturers will find a way. It doesn't matter if they have to quit manufacturing spark plugs and quit manufacturing gas tanks, whatever, and go into manufacturing the little fuel cells, the little batteries and stuff that make up the larger battery, right? They will find a way. They will make do. Trust me. They're not worried about you and I. They're worried about their bottom dollar. So if and when it happens, and I'm telling you, it is coming. It is coming. A couple countries have already said that they want to be fully electric by 2023. Think about that for a second. And I have a whole another video coming about our sales overseas. That's going to take a little while, and I need to get some photos and clips and stuff. But yes, it is coming. I can go on for days about this. It's written on the wall, but people want to refuse to see it. So if you're going to buy a gas car, now's the time. I'm telling you, now's the time. But until later, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's not for everybody, but get out there and enjoy those cars and have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Now, for those of you that still think I'm crazy, think about this. We've lost, or there's been several announcements about cars that aren't going to be produced anymore. Rumor has it it's going to be the Camaro as one of them. I still think they're going to do it. I think they're going to bring it back as a hybrid for several reasons. Well, yeah, I'm going to step out there and say a hybrid for the next generation, because right now they have so much invested and tied up in their crossovers and mid-engine Corvettes coming out. Let's see, today's what is the day? The 14th of July. 4 more days is the release of the Corvette. They've been putting a lot of time and effort into that, and then if they're going to do another Camaro, they'll start piddling with it again then. But the reason I wanted to bring this back as a PS section is, do a search in Google, just cars canceled in 2018, I mean cars canceled in 2019, and you'll see there's a lot of them that's being canceled. But one of the ones that I did not see coming, and this has been a very popular car for so very long, was the Volkswagen Beetle. I sure didn't see that coming. I could see the Jetta or something like that, but the Volkswagen Beetle is such a popular car. It's small, it gets great gas mileage, they even have turbos and all that stuff, so they run really fast. But they need to do something about the design, because the design just isn't as what it once was. But let's do a quick cruise through here and I'll point out what I'm talking about. Like I said, big honking SUVs. I'm sitting in a 4-door Tahoe. Sitting right beside me, King Ranch F-150. Right? Now, keep in mind that we're going to ride through the parking lot and you will see some older vehicles, but mostly what you're going to see is crossovers. Okay? Turn you around this way. Honda. Ford. Another Honda. Hondas are always going to be popular. They're always going to make sedans because, number one, they're cheap. They are built fairly well. I wouldn't say excellent, but they are built very well. They're very reliable, dependable cars. They really are. But if you look over there, truck, right? White truck, 2 crossovers. Crossover, pickup truck. And let's just roll up through here. And as soon as I come around the corner, there's a VW. There is a Mercedes crossover. An old Saturn. Another Chevy Tahoe. A crossover. Another car. Crossover. Over here we got a pickup truck. Crossover, 2 cars. Crossover from Buick. Crossover from Hyundai. Another crossover from Hyundai. Let's just see what we see through here. Anywhere USA. Another small Volkswagen, an older Honda, what can be considered a crossover from Toyota, another Honda, another crossover. And this is just a block from the house. Another crossover, got a slingshot coming through. Another Honda sitting there at the light, old Taurus, pickup truck, crossover, and a work van. But what is it Camaro times house, you may ask? Bam! There you go. Wouldn't have it any other way. I was going to end it as just that, but then I wanted to put in something that a lot of you might not know about that really think that I am crazy. I am crazy. No, on a serious note. Well, maybe that is true. As many of you know, racing has always been a forefront of what is to come in the automotive industry. You know, the manufacturers build their cars. It's always been said and known ever since the first Model A come off the line. The very second that the second one came off the line was the very first race. Now, with that said, it's always been well known that the manufacturers and everything go by the motto, or used to go by the motto, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. So that's a lot of where testing used to come from, because back then NASCAR was basically stock car racing. That was the name of it, stock car racing. So to prove the point that we are heading that way, NASCAR has been testing all electric series. I think a forefront of the names for the series was Tesla Racing. NHRA has been testing all electric cars, and just to go beyond the testing stage, And these two series I just named use cars like we own, you know. Well, supposedly use cars like we own. Like NASCAR has the Camaro, they have the Ford, right? Toyota has the Camry. Well, there is an actual series out there that I tried watching. I tried my hardest. I watched it for about 10 minutes and I just couldn't do it. And it's called E-Formula. Just like the Formula racing, but it's done with all electric cars. It's only like 200 laps.
And we go green in Santiago. Good start from the pole sitter. It's a fairly even start throughout, apart from Andre Lotterer, who's really struggled as they come down towards the first corner. 3 wide, turn 1. And it is still the Nissan that holds the lead. It's very close between Daniel up there as they come through the left-hander of turn.
I tried watching it, and unless you have some really, really good, talented announcers, commentators that you're willing to sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours and listen to, that's all the excitement there is, because you can't hear the cars. You sit there and watch them, but you hear more of what the announcers are saying. And in my mindset, that takes away from the actual racing, because I like hearing the cars when I race. If I was watching all electric drag racing, I wouldn't be watching it, because I like to hear the cars. I like to see the flames shoot out of the exhaust pipes on the top fuel and the funny cars. But my favorite is, of course, the Pro Stock, because they're more like the cars out of any of them to what we have. So, with all that said, I'm going to leave it at that.